that's why it's important to check everything meticulously and leave nothing to luck. When I press the pistons, all of them work except for one, and it has a blown seal. It's pretty clear right here, the seal has come off. And I guess this one is seized, so I got some work to do here. And I was wondering why I was leaking brake fluid. Alright, found the culprit. Again, I'm fucking frustrated right now, but it's so much better that I found the problem now at the comfort of my workshop than having this seal pop out in the middle of nowhere while on the road. So, frustrated as I might be, I'm kinda happy at the same time that I figured it out in here. One more thing to fix. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. One more day of me trying to put everything back together and be on my way. Turns out that though I wasn't expecting it, I had some serious problems with my two-pot front calipers for Bob. These are AP two-pot front calipers, which I need to refurbish because they were seized up. Both of the calipers, the outer pistons were seized up. So the process I'm following is replacing pistons and replacing oil seals and so forth. And because first time round I messed it up, following advices from different people on YouTube on how the job should be done, I got pretty frustrated with things that were not supposed to happen, so I figured I'll run an episode myself and offer my humble 2 cents on the matter of refurbishing front calipers. Seals need to be removed, and there are different ways of people doing that. I'm trying to be as careful as possible in not scratching the inner walls where the pistons operate. So how I remove the seals, and here's an old one in here, is I use my handy old useless filler gauge, which actually serves so many more purposes than just measuring thicknesses. So very gently and carefully I'll just slide that in there and try and pop it behind the seal, which usually works, and since I'm recording, of course it's not going to work. There you go. And just pull out the seal. Now, typical inspections would be to flip them over, wipe them a bit clean so you can see what's happening, and look for cracks, which you shouldn't see in an ideal world. These are pretty okay, but I'll be replacing them anyway. I only use the brake fluid I will be putting into my system, so I soak my gaskets in it, okay? And then installation is pretty straightforward, but care needs to be practiced. First of all, the groove must be completely clean so that when you install the gasket, it doesn't create any bumps, because if you do get a bump, the piston will not go down as easy as it should. It might get seized up, and even if it doesn't get seized up, a tiny bump over the period of time where you apply the brakes all the time while driving, it will create uneven wear and a leak might occur. So be super careful in how well you clean the grooves into which the seals will go in. So putting one in, and that would be the thicker of the two, would be this one, and the colors. Just slide it in. It's of slightly bigger diameter than the groove itself, so it makes a snug fit. Now once in, pretty easy, I just run it with my finger, make sure I feel no bumps or anything in there. Step 2, here's my brand new piston, and I will wet that in brake fluid as well to make it easier for it to go in. and I will not use Vaseline, as some people advise I should. Next step being, very gently put the piston in there, wiggle it a bit, work it around the sides, and it will just start to slide very gently. No force should be applied on this stage. I've seen people using blocks of wood, hammering the pistons in, and they show that on YouTube as a proposed method for putting pistons in. That is most definitely not okay. There you go. That's a nice, that's it. This is in. Now, you want to leave the piston protruding because that will assist in putting the second seals in place. Second seal, it's thinner and it's grooved on the inside, and it comes with a little thin shroud, wet it in .4 fluid again, put it in the thin shroud or cover, or however you might want to call it. This is a job, by the way, that requires patience, so if you're pissed off, frustrated, whatever, do not attempt a brake job, because things need to go in exactly the way they're supposed to go in. Working my way around it, make sure the seal sits in its metallic tin socket cover, however this thing is called. Now, very gently and carefully, it needs to fit the piston. So try and be as parallel as you can. Use both fingers. In it goes. Now this is the phase, or the step in the process, that most people will push this piston all the way in, take a socket, bang it in place, and be done with it. I like to keep my piston up so I can see it, make sure I install the second seal, and it goes flush all the way down, sits where it's supposed to. And now what I've done is I got me a special installation tool, which is nothing more than a tube, the inner diameter of which is the outer diameter of my piston, so it just goes in there. The outer diameter of which is the outer diameter of this little tin thingy. So it sits there, and I will also very gently hammer it in place. I will basically tap it in place, and because this diameter is slightly larger than this one, it will ensure that it will stop when I come flush with the surface of the caliper. So in it goes, put it here, and I have me a thick metal cap to do the job. And with a bit of care, you go and that is a perfect fit on the caliper. Check if it moves. Yes, it does. This is done. Now, there's one difficult step in the process of overhauling or refurbishing the calipers, and that will be removing the piston from the outer socket. That's the outside of the front caliper. With the inner one, when you remove the brake hose, you can basically use a punch and tap the piston out. Whereas in punch, here's a punch, you put it behind, tap it, out it goes. This one has no holes behind, so you don't really have a way of removing this. Don't use grips to grip it, because you will destroy a piston and make it look like that. This is crap. What I use, because I don't have compressed air in my shop, good old foot pump. It will do the job just perfectly. Word of advice: in applying pressure in this one and trying to pop out the piston, make sure you got your hand in front of it and grab the piston, because it will come flying out. I know that because it did happen to me. and you'll be looking for that. And I was lucky I didn't damage my piston, so this one is ready to go. Repeating the process for the other side. If I can grab my seal, check for bumps, nothing. This is a great fit. Now if at this stage the piston doesn't go in by hand, something's wrong. If you have to force it in by battering it and hitting it with hammers and wooden blocks and all that kind of stuff, not okay. Chances are piston has clipped the seals and you're cutting them while you're pushing the piston in. Same process with the cover. New seals in. It's needless to say that all that stuff I had to learn the hard way, because this is the first time I opened up my calipers to refurbish them, because both of them were seized up. Done. Very gently slide it over that, all the way in. Cool beans. Cool. And this one's done too. Now I can torque them and put them back in place and see what's going on with my brakes. And also I'll be testing my brake bleeding apparatus, which has been working great so far. I'm almost done with my rear brakes, so let's see if I can get the front ones to work as good as the back ones. So catch you soon. Okay, I'm ready to torque my calipers. Now, referring to the manual, the mini workshop manual, the torque setting for these bolts, 14 millimeter bolts, is 48 to 55 Newton meters. So I will go for the high setting, 55. You never can be too safe when it comes to brakes. Lock it. This one's done. Apparently the camera had run out of power again as I was torquing my front calipers. They're done, torqued, installed, brake pads and all in place. And I'm going to seize this opportunity to demonstrate the effectiveness of my brake bleeding contraption from episode 19, following up on all the comments I got on it, of what or how many other methods I should have used instead of a pressurized bottle system. So I'm just going to run you through. I just did my brake job, it's all done, brakes are back on bob. I have a properly bled system and I used my spare tire to pressurize my bottle and do it all, and it took me 2 spare tires full of air to do the whole bunt, and it has helped me in identifying 2 major leaks I had in the system, which otherwise I would have not been able to detect, because I would not have a pressurized system if I was using gravity driven systems or a jar with brake fluid and a simple hose. All those methods work and they're fine and they're perfect and they suit the purpose. But again, these are methods that work fine from the comfort of a garage with the aircon on or the heating on and a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with 2 drops of milk and so forth and so forth. This is something designed for the purpose of traveling all by myself, and I gotta be able to take care of myself if shit hits the fan. So the next few minutes I'll just be demonstrating how that went. all I gotta do is pump in the tire. I need me 20 psi. 20. So, hooking up the system, let's see if we can best see. What I cannot do with all the other methods that people kept on bragging about, yes, they're all correct, yes, they all work, but they work from the comfort of a garage, they work with the comfort of time, they work not in conditions that I might find myself into, and there may or may not be strenuous or dangerous or what have you. So I have to be able to do stuff on my own entirely using pressurized air from my spare tire. Stuff I can do with this setup. I can bleed my brake pump if I can find my way wrench. So let's plug me in and set me up. Something like that. Need me an extra piece of cloth to stop the fluid from leaking away. Hooking it up. Now I got pressure, bubbles are going up, and I can bleed my brakes. Nice clean fluid, no air bubbles. This is secured. Let's do the back brakes, the rear brakes. Fresh fluids, no bubbles, safe. This is to prove the point. Provided I can grab my wrench, not make a mess. Yay. Come on, bubbles. Come on out. This is it. That's what I'm talking about. Nice fresh fluid being pumped into the brakes. And it's as simple as that. No bubbles. Try it, open it. No bubbles. 2 minutes, maybe. And with the same amount of air, I'm gonna bleed my front brakes. Let's put you guys right down there. You should be comfy enough. In it goes. In that goes. Let's bleed some brakes. Nice and clean fluid. No air bubbles. Yes. Nothing. This is okay. The other side. Oops. Nope. Nice clean fluid coming out of here as well. I am all set. Disconnecting. And now this is something that I hope I will never have to resort to, but it's a contraption, a setup that works. I don't have to rely on anyone. If shit happens, I can fix problems, repair blown, I don't know, seals or whatever, put new fluid in, bleed it in a few minutes, and be on my way. The only last thing I have to do as a final touch or detail is reduce the amount of leaks I have from this one, because I just made a mess with my car. But other than that, it actually works, and it's fit for the purpose of traveling solo in God knows where. It's been a full day. I'm absolutely knackered. I need a shower. I stink of .4 brake fluid, and I need a nice plate of pasta. Famished. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. I'll be running you updates on the trip in the next couple of episodes, but till that comes, I need to catch my breath. Thank you again for watching. Catch you soon.